Okay, at 550, you talk about racial nationalism. You said people could create a new race or an enhanced race, and there could be racial nationalism formed around that new race. Yeah, it could happen, but it would be weak. Nationalism is strongest when it's based on something constant. So, race has been quite a good one up till now. Blood is thicker than water, and you can't opt out. Yeah, like you said in your video, my race, warts and all. Not better or worse, it's just who we are. But now, in this future, with genetic engineering, imagine it, yeah, you can opt out. And that's the thing. Yes, you could still have racial nationalism, but now it's based on something weak and transitory. People are going to hybridize all over the place. If there's a new bit of code people like, some of the people in your group are going to incorporate that. Some of them may not. They may want to take it in a different direction. They'll have kids without that new bit of code, moving in a kind of, you know, they'll maybe incorporate some other bit of code. It's going to be a pick and mix store. There will be no racial constant, just a kind of gene flux. You won't be able to find enough people with enough in common to base anything on. Yeah, and if you do, it's going to be gone in the next generation anyway. By the way, right, I don't think this means everyone is going to sit around and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Okay, world peace isn't going to break out or anything like that. People need to belong to a group. It's pretty fundamental. If that's in the gene code or not, I don't know. I suspect that's hardwired in 100 places. People need that sense of belonging, to belong to a group. That isn't going to stop. Okay, there's still going to be them and us. It's just that race won't be a good way of defining groups anymore. Most likely, ideology or religion or something else will become the defining attribute. So, I'm not being naive. There's no world peace. No world peace. 755. You say people will want kids to be better looking versions of themselves. Yeah, bingo, we agree on that. Not only will they want them to be better looking, they want them to be thinner, taller, smarter, perfect pitch, sports ability, longevity, and all that other shit that people admire in others. But to do that, to get that, we're going to have to rummage around in the gene pool of other races. You know, nationalism is about us, and to have an us, you need a them. How is someone going to be able to them the other group racially, genetically, when you've lifted a bunch of DNA from that group? Let's imagine a German Aryan 1940s group transported into this future. Pure German blood. You know, we stay away from the darkies. They're not us. Oh, hang on, but we did like a bunch of their DNA because it was resistant to disease or whatever, and that DNA is inside us now. Actually, not even inside us, it is us. We took that from them and we put it in our genome. You can't really other that group anymore, can you? With any kind of intellectual integrity. It's just silly. It will be a silliness. I wonder if the difference we're having, just thinking about everything you've said, I wonder if the difference we're having is how we imagine this kind of future scenario of genetic engineering unfolding. You, I think, expect people to basically stay close genetically to where they are now. And that's as far as you see it going. Because a lot of your points seem to come from that kind of premise. I think that's right initially, but long term, logically, people will keep modding the code. I see that pick and mix scenario where humanity moves progressively away from today's norms, following continual improvement, and not just fishing around the gene pools of other races, but even creating totally bespoke code. It might be hard to imagine now, but logically, I don't see how this cannot go all the way. It's going to just, the road is going to be walked down. In fact, the danger might be that we end up going too far. Conceivably, you know how people like to copy each other and esteem the things that others esteem. Conceivably, we all kind of converge on an ideal. There's a kind of ideal core set of genes that everyone ends up taking. Eye and hair colour will have variation because that's totally subjective, to me at least. But a lot of the genes might be considered kind of objectively desirable by everyone, so everyone ends up having them. And the result is that the active gene pool becomes very small. So genetically the species becomes highly homogeneous, which is dangerous because you're then at risk of extinction events. Anyway, I'm speculating like crazy here. Your final question was, when? When will these things be? Is it even possible, what we're talking about? I can't know the future, obviously. It depends on economics and politics as much as it depends on science. But I think if it starts, it will be hard to stop. And I will say that progress seems to be very rapid in this field. So if you compare it to artificial intelligence, another field of science that's made big promises, artificial intelligence is such a fail. They've been making big promises since the 60s, nothing concrete as yet. The big break is 10 years away, and they say that every 10 years, and it's going nowhere. No real deliverables. Genetic engineering, on the other hand, shows real progress, especially in the last 20 years. They've catalogued the code, not just of humans, they've done a ton of species, they've made many working modifications on animals with real world applications. It has all the hallmarks of a field of science that's going somewhere. It's got that momentum. How long exactly? I can't say. I mean, it's not going to be maybe 50, 80, 100 years. That's the kind of time frame at which I would expect to see, serious modification. Yeah, that's it really. I'm sure I didn't answer all of your questions, and these are just my opinions anyway. Do have a good day.